So what's the difference between the analog world 1.0 and the 2.0 world in terms of marketing, in terms of thinking about how to communicate with our audience? Wiki. All right, so the old way of doing things, you would push something out. What do I mean by push? Well, you put out a trailer, you push out a trailer, you put out a billboard, and you hope people show up. That's the traditional way of advertising, right? We have a billboard, we have a trailer, we have some posters, and that's how we attract people. The new way is pulling people in through social media, through viral marketing, where people can share stuff. How many has seen anything with the Prometheus campaign that's running now? It's everywhere, right? They're trying. The film doesn't open until June, but they keep feeding people talking about. Look at the dictator. He was on the morning show the other day, right? He went viral because he came dressed up as not Sacha Baron Cohen, but as the dictator, and he can insult anybody in character, right? And that goes viral. And that's how you promote these things. You don't push anything out. You have something that can get shared by itself. That's a new way of doing it. Another way, the old way, was who can sell, right? You have a trailer, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. That's it. That's what you're going to get. If you just do a trailer today, you're going to drown. You're going to miss out. The new way of doing is sampling. You've got to sample as much from the film as possible. Remember Batman? The last Batman film when it opened, the first 20 minutes of the film, all the Jokers running around shooting and killing each other in the bank, that was released online by the studio. Remember the Avatar campaign? They released so many different cuts and clips online. You could almost cut the entire film together. Why? Because you got to show, you got to sample, you're going to show this film works. If you just put up a trailer for 30 seconds, people don't care anymore. You have to get people interested. You've got to convince them because there's so much fighting for attention right now. Right? We live in a world now where people have infinite choices. There's 100 TV channels, there's Facebook, there's World of Warcraft, there's PlayStation, there's Xbox, there's idols on, there's talent shows, there's rugby league, rugby union, cricket, soccer, whatever you have. There's so much stuff happening and we're competing against all of it. And if you can't prove what you have is good, people won't see it. That's why Prometheus, the film, is pumping out all this stuff constantly about the film. Because otherwise people won't get interested. Who can sell does not work anymore. The old world was all I said, so it's a great film, go see it. No, now you've got to prove it it's a great film. The only way you can prove it's a great film is by sampling it. Because you can share it. You can do a lot of stuff. The old world was a celebrity-endorsed world. I'm not saying celebrities are dead. But when Leonardo DiCaprio goes on a talk show and talks about shooting The Great Gatsby, and he says, oh, it was so much fun on the set. I love working with Baz Luhrmann. We all know it's bull, right? We all know this is lying through his teeth, but it's in his contract. He's supposed to say these things. I'm not saying we don't care about celebrities, we certainly do. We care about who they're sleeping with and what scandals there are, but we don't trust them. What we trust is the everyday spokesperson, right? If you buy a film on iTunes, you buy a book on Amazon, the first thing people do is they scroll down and they see what the average person, what they think about the book and the film. Yes, you can pay some money to somebody and they can go in and they can overdo their own thing, but in the long end, the democracy will happen and people will come through with their opinion, not somebody who paid advertising like that. People trust the everyday spokesperson. We don't trust the celebrities anymore. The old world was a text, print, and email. Now, email is not completely dead yet. We're going to talk about email today. But text and print, it's not working. It's video that's working. That's good news for us. We're in the film business. We have a lot of video. We need to share it. We need to show it. We need to go online with it. It's the only way to communicate with people now. People don't want to read anymore. The old world was a world community. What happened in Sydney stayed in Sydney. Okay, if we rolled the film out in Melbourne, something would happen there, but it would stay there. Something happened in Perth, it was there. Now we're in the world of connections. It's still community, it's just online. How many, if somebody tweets about this, somebody can read about it in Japan, somebody can tweet about it in Brazil. We're now in a world of connections. We're no longer in a world of community, but it's online. It doesn't have to be locally. So we start thinking globally to begin with. Don't only think about Sydney, think about the whole world. The old world was a world of brand representing. It was all about the brand. The value was in the brand. That still exists in some definition, but now it's about representing the crowd. The fastest growing companies in the world right now are the companies that represent crowds. Right? Facebook. How many in here is on Facebook? Right. That's a good number of people. Have any of you ever given $1 to Facebook? You might have because you're on an ad, right? We'll talk about that. All right, but see, 99% haven't paid $1 to Facebook, yet they're worth, what, $100 billion, $100 gazillion, whatever it is. Why? Because they represent 800 million people. And probably by this afternoon, it'll be 1 billion people, right? It goes so fast. If you represent so many people, you can make money off it. Google. How many here have used either Google Maps or G Plus or or Google search engine, you all have, right? We all use it. We don't pay for it. But when you have billions of searches every month, you can monetize that because Google and Facebook represents the crowd, right? It's all about representing the crowd. That's what the fastest, Instagram, right? Doesn't make any money. They sold for $1 billion to Facebook. Why? Represent the crowd. Yes. The old world was you sold first, then you added value, right? Well, it's a great example of that. It's an airline. Airline sells tickets, and then they give the seat later on, right? And of course, yeah, that's what an airline does. Value first, then sell. A great example of value first, then sell is like Zynga. You might not know the company, but it's also one of the fastest growing companies in the world. In the gaming world, they own Farmville and Cityville and Mafiaville or whatever. All these games you can play on Facebook, right? Farmville, have you everybody heard about Farmville? You know the game on Facebook? Anyway, it's free to play. Everybody can play for free. But they make $1 million a day. How can you make $1 million a day on a game that's free? Well, because it's what's called freemium. Everybody gets to play for free. And it's about planting some bananas and apples or carrots or cucumbers. I don't know, I haven't played it. And it takes like 8 hours or 12 hours to do certain things, right? And you have to check in later on and stuff like that. But if you pay just $2 here and $3 there, then you can get those apples and cucumbers faster. And because you play for free, a lot of people start playing, and after a while they play for a month, like, hey man, I'm getting great value out of this game. I played for free. I don't mind paying $2 or $3 here. So they give the value away first, and then they sell. Right? Facebook, same thing. Value first. You get this whole amazing system online. You don't pay $1. But they sell advertising, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on. All right. The old world is you overpromise and underdeliver. Again, cut to the airline industry, right? They promise in an ad, right? You're checking in the airport, there's nobody. You got like 10 people taking care of you, right? They never show in the advertising you go through security, by the way. Have you also know there's never security in the advertising? And then when you board the plane, you're the only one boarding, and of course, pretty ladies stand there with a glass of champagne. Now, cut to the real world, 1,000 people screaming, yelling, going through security. Everybody's trying to board at the same time, right? They come up with different value. You need to under-promise and under-deliver, not over-promise and under-deliver. That's the problem that they have. That's why people are mad at all the airline industry, because they keep saying they're going to do all these things, and for them it's all about getting their money up first, and then make sure you put on a flight 2 days later, 2 weeks later, 2 months later. Under-promise and over-deliver is what the new world is all about.